There may not be a better example of the power of Trump's rhetoric than this clown right here.
And what specifically have they lied about?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Right. Well, you got a shirt that's just peeing on it and you called it fake news. So what specifically have they lied about? What makes them fake news?
I don't know. I don't watch it. I watch Fox News.
Right. But you called them fake news. Why do you think they're fake news? What are they saying that's fake?
Border. The border.
All right, there you have it.
And there we have it indeed. The silence and expression on his face say more than any of the bogus talking points he could have vomited up. While we're no fans of the network ourselves, you could substitute anything that Trump dislikes onto the guy's shirt, and he would have the exact same response that boils down to believing and following along with everything Trump says at face value, completely abandoning all critical thinking and letting him and his allies make the decisions for them. The good liars, as well as Trump's propaganda network, Right Side Broadcasting, were brought out at Trump's recent rally in Racine, Wisconsin, one of the most important battleground states for the upcoming election, spewing his typical nonsense and lies about winning the state in 2020, as well as the general, while continuing to ramp up his anti-immigrant bigotry even more than he has in previous months.
And the Democrats are wheeling Granny off the cliff to give benefits to illegal aliens. They're giving the benefits to the illegals. The black population, Hispanic population, is voting for me at levels that nobody's ever seen before in this country because they're not getting the jobs.
For starters, the juxtaposition of hearing Trump's white nativist rhetoric while RSBN hawks Mike Huckabee's children's book about Trump is a perfect encapsulation not only of the MAGA movement, but also of how Republicans project their own insecurities onto their opposition. For example,
it's dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by critics, but officially named the Parental Rights in Education Law, and it now bans classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through 3, and any instruction that is not age or developmentally appropriate. It's now up to the state to define those standards. The law also allowing parents to sue school districts that violate these policies, and those who support it say it will empower parents in the classroom.
Bigoted goobers like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his allies just couldn't stomach allowing children to know that the LGBTQ plus community exists. But that's the real goal of bills like this one, the revived push of anti-LGBTQ plus legislation all across the country is rooted in the insecurity that children from Republican households may not adhere to the same rigid norms of gender and sexuality that the current adults did, which would then theoretically lead to a loss of political power across generations. So these bigots must do everything they can to prevent this insecurity from coming to fruition.
Criminalizing LGBT curriculum and the forced celebration of homosexuality in public schools, and bringing an end to the anti-white indoctrination in public schools by completely dismantling the current curriculum in place.
These are much closer to the types of policies that would be put in place nationwide if the right gets their way. Even though individual voters may not be 100% on board with something this similar to the schmozzies policies, the fact of the matter is that we're creeping closer and closer to this nightmare becoming reality as the Republican Party itself continues shifting to the right further and further while openly conceding power to the most unhinged people in the country, like the losers attending AFPAC events or Trump rallies. And if the Dems continue to be as dangerously incompetent as they have been in recent years, full-blown fascism will be here much earlier than expected.
And I will restore the sovereign borders of the United States of America. So help me God.
Case in point, look at the reaction from the crowd after Trump dog whistles at them about restoring our borders. The only crisis at our borders is our completely inept immigration processing infrastructure, not immigration itself, but because of the lies Trump, his allies, and Democrats like John freaking Fetterman have told voters, bigotry is allowed to fester and spread unchecked and completely out in the open. And like I said earlier, if these are the people you're speaking to, it's really no wonder why our country is in the state it's currently in.
They say that the way that they're waking people up is by creating a movie so that the people, because you can't tell somebody something, you have to show them. Okay. And in order to show them, they've created this movie to wake people up, to make them understand what the hell is going on in this country. Okay. And
But it is reality. We're talking about reality.
Steve Bannon and Steve Mnuchin, were TV producers.
Who would you rather have president, Joe Biden or Vladimir Putin?
Oh, Putin. Definitely.
And why is that?
I believe he's been given a tough since World War II. Russia's been the bad guy, when in actuality the Nazis left Germany, and they ended up going to the Ukraine, coming in here. George Bush was actually. Thank you. George Bush was actually a Nazi.
Interviews with Trump supporters are some of the best evidence we have of the systemic failures present in our country, as well as the unwillingness of our elected officials to do anything to correct them.
What would you ask the president?
If I helped out the enemy during a time of war, that's called treason, I could be put to death. The border is open. We got over 6 million people coming across, 300,000 people a month. And we don't know who these people are. We got like 70,000 Chinese people. We got people that we're at war with right now or possible enemies coming over. So now, these sleeper cells, if we go to war with them, he's allowing the enemy to come behind our defenses. What the hell are you doing? You should be put up for treason and put to death.
Welcoming conspiracy theorists with open arms and adopting their beliefs then opens the floodgates for all types of conspiracies to run rampant and become normalized in the discourse, just like what's happening now with the manufactured hysteria over the southern border.
Why won't you close the border? Why do you allow drugs to continue to pour across? Why did you stop construction of the one thing that could have actually helped stem the tide of illegal immigration and fentanyl across our border?
We had secure borders. He was stopping the fentanyl and human trafficking. Gosh, I could just go on.
Seems like the fentanyl problem pre-existed Joe Biden, right?
Well, yeah, but with everything he was doing to secure the border, if we could have finished closing the border off, it would have substantially dropped even more. And now it's all open, and we have so much death every day.
No, the border is not open and never has been open. Not only has the Biden administration continued Trump's immigration policy at the southern border, but every president since at least 1992 has continued to further militarize and fortify the southern border by investing heavily in surveillance technology, walls and fences, and specialized training for tens of thousands of new agents. And that's not even scratching the surface of the separation of families, the glorified prisons thousands of these migrants and immigrants spend time detained in, and the constant threat of abuse from law enforcement. But since that's exactly what the anti-immigrant crowd is advocating for, they should be praising Biden for continuing the cruelty. But that's not what Trumpers have been told to believe.
I think people are very afraid of what Joe Biden has let the southern border become. The border is entirely open. Over 9 million people have entered the country during the 3 years that Biden has been president, and probably up to 75% of those have remained in the United States. It's a level of illegal migration into our country that's unsustainable and puts a huge financial burden on our country, and everybody feels it because that's 7 million more people who need housing, and that's a tight market. And money's tight right now, so it affects everybody.
If Donald Trump loses in November, what does that mean for the country?
I really feel like if Donald Trump loses, we're going to be run by more globalists that don't have America's best interests at heart. And I think that's what a lot of Trump supporters are scared of. And that's why a lot of people came out tonight and supported him. So that's what I think most Americans, not just me, but most Americans are scared of.
I think he's trying to wreck the country, giving it away.
To whom?
Any other country besides ours.
And you mean giving support for Ukraine and Israel?
No, I'm in support for Israel. I just mean he just don't take care of the American people. He's worried about the illegal people more than the American people.
We have veterans that he's not taking care of, and yet they come across and they get money and hotel and food and phones, and he doesn't take care of us, the people. They're illegal instead of his people.
What would you say to President Biden were he to come up to us right now? What would you say to him?
You failed us.